Good evening, my friends. I hope you're all doing well today. I have received so many mails, George Nchumbonga Lekelefac. I have received so many mails from friends and messages complaining that the Pope's message was only in French, so they couldn't understand what the Pope said today. However, if you go to the Vatican website, you can see the message of the Pope, Pope Leo, in English, French, Italian, German, Portuguese, and different languages if you go to the website. But I just wanted to use this initiative to read out the Pope's message in English so that my followers who have been contacting me could listen to what the Pope said today in English. So I have the message right here, my friends. Permit me. Meeting with the authorities, civil society, and the diplomatic corps. Address of Pope Leo XVI. Sorry, Pope Leo XIV. Presidential Palace, Yaounde, Wednesday, 15th of April, 2026. Mr. President, distinguished authorities, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for the warm reception I have received and for the words of welcome addressed to me. It is with deep joy that I find myself in Cameroon, often described as Africa in miniature because of the richness of its lands, cultures, languages, and traditions. This variety is not weakness but a treasure. It constitutes a promise of fraternity and a solid foundation for building lasting peace. I come among you as a shepherd and as a servant of dialogue, fraternity, and peace. My visit is an expression of the affection of the successor of Peter for all Cameroonians, as well as of the desire to encourage each of you to keep moving forward with enthusiasm and perseverance in building the common good. We are living, in fact, at a time when hopelessness is rampant and a sense of powerlessness tends to paralyze the renewal so deeply desired by people. There is such a hunger and thirst for justice, a thirst for getting involved, for a vision, for courageous choices, and for peace. It is my great desire to reach the hearts of all, especially young people, who are called to help shape a world that is more just, including in the political sphere. I also wish to express my desire to strengthen the bonds of collaboration between the Holy See and the Republic of Cameroon, which are founded on mutual respect, the dignity of every human person, and religious freedom. Cameroon still carries the memory of the visit made by my predecessors, St. John Paul II, bore a message of hope for all peoples of Africa. And Benedict XVI emphasized the importance of reconciliation, justice, and peace, as well as the moral responsibility of those in government. I know that these are important moments in your country's history, as they are compelling exhortations to a spirit of service, unity, and justice. We may therefore ask ourselves, where are we now? How has the world that was proclaimed to us borne fruit? How has the world that was proclaimed to us borne fruit? And what remains to be done? 1600 years ago, St. Augustine wrote words that have great relevance today. Those who rule serve those whom they seem to command, for they rule not for a love of power, but from a sense of the duty they owe to others, not because they are proud of authority, but because they love mercy. From this perspective, serving one's country means dedicating oneself with a clear mind and an upright conscience to the common good of all people in the nation. This includes dedication to both the majority of the population and the minorities, as well as their mutual harmony. Today, like many other nations, your country is facing complex difficulties. The tension and violence that have afflicted certain regions of the Northwest, Southwest, and far North have caused profound suffering. Lives have been lost, families displaced, children deprived of schooling, and young people no longer see a future. Behind the numbers are the faces, stories, and shattered hopes of real people. In the face of such dramatic situations, I call on the human family at the beginning of this year to reject the logic of violence and war and to embrace a peace founded on love and justice. A peace that is unarmed, that is not based on fear, threats, or weapons, and at the same time disarming, because it is capable of resolving conflicts, opening hearts and generating trust, empathy, and hope. Peace cannot be reduced to a slogan. It must be embodied in a way of life that renounces all forms of violence, both personally and institutionally. For this reason, I strongly reiterate, the world is thirsting for peace, enough of war, with all the pain it causes through death, destruction, and exile. This cry is intended as an appeal that contributes to the efforts for an authentic peace, prioritizing it over any partisan interest. Peace, in fact, cannot be decreed. It must be embraced and lived. It is a gift from God which unfolds through patience and collective effort. It is everyone's responsibility, beginning with civil authorities. To govern means to love one's own country as well as neighboring countries. The commandment, love your neighbor as yourself, is equally applicable to international relations. To govern means truly listening to citizens, valuing their intelligence and their ability to help build lasting solutions to problems. Pope Francis pointed out the need to move beyond the idea of social policies being a policy for the poor, but never with the poor and never of the poor, much less part of a project which can bring people back together. With such a change of approach, civil society must be recognized as a vital force for national cohesion. Cameroon is ready for this transition. Associations, women's and youth organizations, trade unions, humanitarian NGOs, as well as traditional and religious leaders all play an irreplaceable role in weaving the fabrics of social peace. They are the first to intervene when tensions arise. They are the ones who care for the displaced, support victims, open spaces for dialogue, and encourage local mediation. Their close ties to the local community enable them to understand the root cause of conflicts and to identify appropriate solutions. Civil society also contributes to shaping consciences, promoting a culture of dialogue and fostering respect for differences. In this way, civil society is preparing for a future that is less prone to uncertainty. I would like to highlight with gratitude the role played by women. They are often, unfortunately, the first victims of prejudice and violence. Yet, they are tireless peacemakers. Their commitment to education, mediation, and the rebuilding of the social fabrics is unparalleled and serves to curb corruption and abuse of power. For this reason too, their voice must be fully recognized in decision-making processes. In the face of such generous dedication within society, transparency in the management of public resources and respect for the rule of law are essential to restoring trust. It is time to examine our conscience and take a bold leap forward. Just and credible institutions become pillars of stability. Public authorities are called to serve as bridges, never as sources of division, even when insecurity seems prevalent. Security is a priority, but it must always be exercised with respect for human rights, combining rigor and magnanimity with particular attention to the most vulnerable. Authentic peace arises when everyone feels protected, heard, and respected. When the law serves as a secure safeguard against the whims of the rich and the powerful. Brothers and sisters, on closer reflection, the high offices you hold demand a twofold witness. The first is achieved through the collaboration of the various agencies and administrative levels of the state in the service of the people, and especially of the poor. The second is accomplished by carrying out your institutional and professional responsibilities with integrity and upright conduct. Indeed, in order for peace and justice to prevail, the chains of corruption, which disfigure authority and strip it of its credibility, must be broken. Hearts must be set free from an idolatrous thirst for profit. True profit comes from integral human development. That is, the balanced growth of all the aspects that make life on this earth a blessing. Cameroon possesses the human, cultural, and spiritual resources necessary to overcome trials and conflicts and move forward a future of stability and shared prosperity. The common effort in favor of dialogue, justice, and integral development must transform the wounds of the past into sources of renewal. As I have often mentioned, young people represent the hope of the country and of the church. Their energy and creativity are priceless treasures. Of course, when unemployment and social exclusion persist, frustration can lead to violence. Investing in the education, training, and entrepreneurship of young people is, therefore, a strategic choice for peace. It is the only way to curb the outflow of wonderful talents to other parts of the world. It is also the only way to combat the scourges of drugs, prostitution, and apathy, which are devastating too many young lives in an increasingly dramatic way. Thankfully, young people in Cameroon possess a deep spirituality that still resists the homogenizing influence of the market. It is a source of energy that gives value to their dreams, which are rooted in the prophecies that nourish their prayers and their hearts. When they are not twisted by the poison of fundamentalism, religious traditions inspired prophets of peace, justice, forgiveness, and solidarity. By fostering interreligious dialogue and involving religious leaders in initiatives of mediation and reconciliation, politics and diplomacy can draw upon moral forces capable of easing tensions, preventing extremism, and promoting a culture of mutual esteem and respect. Through her efforts in education, healthcare, and charity, the Catholic Church in Cameroon desires to continue serving all citizens without distinction. The Church also wishes to work in good faith with civil authorities and all those involved in efforts to promote human dignity and reconciliation. Where possible, the Church intends to facilitate cooperation with other countries and strengthen ties between Cameroonians around the world and their communities of origin. May God bless Cameroon, assist its leaders, guide civil society, enlighten the work of the diplomatic corps, and grant the entire Cameroonian people, Christians and non-Christians, political leaders and citizens, the grace to welcome the kingdom of God and so build together a future of justice and peace. And this is the end of the speech, my dear friends, from Pope Leo XIV today at the Unity Palace in Yaounde. And there are 4 citations. The first citation is from St. Augustine, the Civitate Dei, number 14. Then you have address in the presence of religious leaders, 28th of October 2025. Francis address to participants in the Third World Meeting of Popular Movement, 5th of November 2016. And address to the prefects of the Italian Republic, 16th of February 2026. And that brings me to the end of the speech of the Holy Father. What really touched me in this speech, my dear friends, is justice. That's what we've been writing about. The church cannot underlook justice. So when the nuncio goes to Bamenda and says that justice is not perfect, I mean, that's terrible. How can you come to a cathedral of people who have suffered a war for 10 years, who've suffered injustice, and you are telling them about an imperfect justice, that justice cannot be perfect? That was terribly insensitive. That was not being sensitive to the plight and the suffering of the people of Bamenda who've suffered for 10 years of war. So I'm so excited, my dear friends, that Pope Leo has brought the bishops back on track. They have to speak the truth in season and out of season. The bishops must know that their moral authority cannot be derailed. Unfortunately, it has been derailed. People don't believe in them anymore. The Bishop of Boya, Bishop Bibi, said, what you want that we will do? We want them to go change government. We're not asking you to change the government. We're asking you to speak truth to them. Yes, bishops have the magisterium to write and teach. But unfortunately, because of all this money that the government gives them, they have lost their moral authority. Yes, they have preferred money to moral authority. Unlike the days of Archbishop Vedzekov, those are bishops who shook Cameroon whenever they spoke. People paid attention because they did not collect a franc from the government. Monsignor Patrick Lafont confirmed that whenever the envelopes were being sent to Bamenda to him, Vedzekov would send them back because he did not want anything to influence his decisions. And that is what we expect our bishops to do. 10 years of war and you guys are sleeping quietly? No, the bishops must speak out and end the war, just as the Pope said today in his speech. Pope Leo, thank you so much for having touched the minds. Your presence in Yaounde today has confirmed that the church is a church of justice. Not just of peace. There's no peace without justice. There can never be peace without justice. And that's what we have been advocating. All my articles have been advocating for justice, for the vulnerable, for those whose rights are abused, So I'm so grateful for that, and we are waiting eagerly to hear what the Pope is going to say in Bamenda tomorrow and in Douala. So my dear friends, let's stay in touch. These days are going to be days it's going to be volcanic. We're going to be getting volcanic eruptions. By volcanic eruptions, I mean the truth. Yes, the universal pastor is in Cameroon and is going to bring the bishops on track. We thank the bishops who have criticized, who've spoken truth to power. Archbishop Samuel Cleda, thank you. The Bishop of Yagua, thank you. The Bishop of Nchumbonga, thank you. The Bishop of Bafoussam, Paul Lonsi, thank you for having spoken, for having been the voice of the love voice. That's what we expect. Just imagine that if all the bishops of Cameroon could speak in one voice, there would have been justice. Injustice would have stopped long ago. But bishops are taking sides. Some are talking, some are not talking. And then we begin to wonder whether they are in the same Catholic Church we believe justice as a cardinal virtue. So my dear friend, let's stay tuned and see what happens tomorrow in Bamenda. Have a nice day and may God bless.